first time I got recognized was in LA. It was in a Uber, and the man was dressed in a Spider-Man costume because he did birthday parties. And he was like, "You look familiar." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And my mom was like, "Well, she's actually on a Netflix show called Stranger Things." I was just hoping he didn't crash the car. Hi, my name is Priah Ferguson, and I'm here with Team Vogue for First. I think when I met Kelly Roland, I was pretty starstruck. And also Leonardo DiCaprio. I think I was starstruck after the fact I found out that was Leonardo DiCaprio. I was with Millie and Noah at a Netflix party, and I was just following them around, and they were talking to Leonardo DiCaprio, who I didn't know was Leonardo DiCaprio at the time. And I think he said something to me, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then we walked back into where the party actually was on the dance floor. And they were like, "Do you know who that was?" And I was like, "No, who was that?" And they were like, "It's Leonardo DiCaprio." And I was like, "What? He looks so different. Oh my gosh, that's Leonardo DiCaprio." I didn't know it was him I was talking to until after I talked to him. So I was coming home from school, getting off the bus, and the first thing that I did, I found out the news, and I was jumping up and down. I was super excited. I think my mom was making dinner that night, so it was a pretty big day because my mom doesn't like to cook for real. I'm the cooker in the house. I enjoy cooking, so that's why I remember that day. So she was in a pretty good mood to cook some chicken Alfredo that night. The scene that I read in the audition, my name was Tina in the script, and I think Lucas' name was still the same, I believe. I was sitting on the couch watching TV, and he came in, and I said something smart. It was kind of short, but that's what it was. I was a little scared after watching Stranger Things for the first time. I ended up watching it when I booked the show a little bit. I watched some parts just to get familiar with it, and I also watched some movies like E.T., The Goonies, just to get familiar with the 80s and stuff like that. Finn Wolfhard was the first famous person that has ever followed me. Mindless behavior. That was my first crush. It was a pretty short day for me, actually. I thought it would be pretty long, but it wasn't. That was the day I first met Caleb, and I met his family. They were super sweet, and I kind of did my scenes, and it took about maybe no more than 2 hours, and that was the end of it. My name is the first thing people get wrong about me. They call me Priah, just everything under the sun but Priah. Check myself out in the mirror and do my hair, my facial routine. First scene that I filmed for Stranger Things, it was the scene in season 2 when I was first introduced, and I was like nerd and mouthing nerd when Lucas was taking his Ghostbusters picture. Atlanta with Donald Glover. That was my first film set I ever worked on. The previous sets I've worked on were kind of short films, so when I found out I stayed in like a little trailer. It was little, but I was like, oh shoot, this is nice, you know? So it was kind of surreal.
Where you get this from?
My friend Alex.
I better not catch you playing with no toy guns again, boy.
He was playing like he was Paperboy.
I don't care, Angel, we don't play like that. Come on.
I got turned down for so many. That role that I got turned down from, that character had a lot of range, and I really, really wanted it. And I remember going to the audition, and the lady, the casting director, she was a big casting director at the time. She looked me in my face, and she was just kind of like, "You weren't good enough." And I was just kind of like, dang, I was sensitive. But I ran out the casting room, and I was like, "I don't think I did well." And I started crying and stuff, but it wasn't made for me. My first time I got recognized was in LA. It was in a Uber, and the man was dressed in a Spider-Man costume because he did birthday parties. And he was like, "You look familiar." And I was like, "Oh, okay." My mom was like, "Well, she's actually on a Netflix show called Stranger Things," because she was super excited around the time. And then he was like, "Oh, OMG." I was just hoping he didn't crash the car. I would definitely say getting invited to the Emmys. That was my first dream come true. It would be when I started driving in May, taking driver's ed. I was like, oh, this is cool. I don't feel like I cannot wait to get my driver's license. When I got my permit, it was pretty surreal for me. First time I heard about the Curse of Bridge Hollow, around August when school started, that's when I first heard about it, last year. I think I went in like a Zoom call so they could see my acting and, you know, just see me in person, but they did really want me. I was requested, but After that, they kind of knew they wanted me and kind of, I guess, just went with their gut. And now the Halloween decorations are coming to life.
Come on, Sid. That's just not something that happens.
I like this project because, one, I loved Marlon Wayans' role. I knew the kind of project this is gonna be, and I automatically fell in love with it. And the storyline, Sydney had a lot of range, and the movie had a lot of range. It was not only horror, but it was also kind of funny and showed the ups and downs of a relationship that a father and daughter goes through. The first time I met Kelly Roland was on set, right in the middle when we were filming, like November. She was really cool. I remember one of my mom's friends, she makes cheesecakes, and I know Kelly Roland likes her cakes, she likes her pastries, so I gave her a thing of cheesecakes and she loved them. First song I was ever obsessed with was Where the Boys At by OMG Girls. The skeleton scene when they were breaking the windows and trying to attack us. If we can't stop Jack by midnight,
Every day will be Halloween.
you know what you could do to something that's real?
Booyah!
You can kick its ass. The first time I realized I wanted to become an actress was when I was younger. I think I was 5 watching Daddy's Little Girls. And I was kind of confused on how they got into the TV, and I thought it was super cool. Then my mom broke down the process of acting and what it is. And once I heard that, I fell in love with it, and I wanted to be in a TV, so I did do a lot of small acting roles, a lot of dramatic short films. I didn't really do too much comedy until I booked Erica on Stranger Things. I also did a few local plays, but I knew I didn't really want to do theater. I knew that being on film was my thing, so I kind of tried to move towards that direction. I am inspired by Zendaya just because she has really nice style, but she's also elevated from Disney and she's in a whole new career, but I loved her in Disney, so it was just so cool seeing her go from Shake It Up to Euphoria, and I was like, wow, like I'm really kind of grew up with her on TV in a way, because Shake It Up was my jam. Now I still don't really feel like I technically made it, but I guess now that I'm getting recognized more, I guess that's kind of the first time where I feel like, oh, I have an image that I kind of have to protect. It was definitely a time on this journey where I felt like I didn't want to do this anymore, but it wasn't that I wanted to drop the industry completely. I kind of wanted to move into more of a different direction, like directing and producing, and be more behind the camera than in front of the camera. And also, I want to move towards the fashion career and lifestyle like that. So, an advice that has kind of stuck with me: if you have a good team, it makes everything easier. And that's what kind of helps you get far, is your team.